This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's up? Look at that, I've got Dana Dane's background in there. Yeah, oh man, I'm in some kind of creepy. Yeah. Yeah, that's the Dana Dane image that she made on Halloween. Yeah, it doesn't look like a womb whatsoever, but yeah. Cha-cha-cha, that's the, that's what Chad Daybell was saying. Yep. Yeah, so what's going on, everybody? Oh, I wonder how that'll work if I go to jail. Does it? I don't think I'm gonna have the same background in jail. Let's see. Oh, yep, that's right. Huh. Well, that's okay. Hopefully I won't be in jail. Yeah, so we got some crazy stories. I mean, there was a this lady that was just texting me on a different missing persons case. Hey, look at that, it's Cairo. Yeah, and Steph May sent in her image. She has like a nefarious sweatshirt on or hoodie and 2 mugs. So usually at the end of the show I play the image, the slideshow. Hey Cairo, how's it going? Yeah. Just waiting for everybody to get their hellos in. Can't stand starting a show and everybody's still going hello, 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 hello. You know, believe it or not, people will get by without saying it. Gray, you're such a curmudgeon. Hey, Lee D. Hey, there's Left Undone. Any updates in that case that we were doing back in the day? I can't even remember her name now. It was so long ago. You ever find her? Yep, I'm so mean. Thanks, Lee D. Oh, that's for future no bail. So basically you're starting me off at -5. That's awesome. Because I'm not even in there yet.
Okay, future no bail.
Oh, thank you for that great accent. And you guys remember last night the Karen sent in her story, and I had that Australian voice read it, or British voice, I mean, read it for you guys. You remember that last night, where she was on the Appalachian Trail with 3 friends. One of them, the girl, dropped off, but then she was still with, I think, a friend named Jim, I think. Then he wanted to go back to Michigan at a certain point, and so she goes, well, I'll just keep walking, make it to the next sort of place where you can stay, like a camp. And then on the way there, while she was with Jim, this guy showed up in a van and told him that he'd give him a ride. I don't remember if that was his name or not. And then she continued on her own, but that guy actually dropped Jim off at a bus stop, then drove all the way back, then followed the same trail that she was going to be on and caught up to her and assaulted her. And she figured out how to get out of the situation. Anyways, she wrote, and she wanted me to tell you guys this. Oh, hold on a second. Well, let me finish what I'm saying. She said, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your kind." She's talking to you guys. She asked me to say this to you guys. She wanted me to say, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your kind words and feel grateful to all who listen. It really affected me much more deeply on an emotional level than I thought it would. I felt total and complete support with no judgment at all." And then she says she thinks that I'm doing a really great thing with my channel, and she was going to join the channel. But anyways, I thought that was cool that you guys were, you guys aren't like the other channels where you got the idiots that show up and jump in and start throwing out judgmental, like in the Libby and Abby case, right? The people that always say, well, they shouldn't have let the Becky shouldn't have let them go to the bridge. Those people are morons, okay? Every one of those people. You can think it in your head like that you wouldn't do it, but that's not how it was in that town, everybody. So whenever you say that, you come across as a total idiot. All right, let's see. Heard there was going to be finally process the car, but her friends really didn't help. They should have let us talk about the case. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that just disappeared, the whole case. Hey, thanks, Left Undone. Right. And I've said that before, what I just said a minute ago. But I was talking to somebody about it in email just for a minute, and it reminded me of that right then. Okay? The holier than thou types, where it shows up the most is in the hot car death syndrome. That's an actual thing that happens to people, where they literally forget, and then they go, oh man, I would never do that, they should be in jail for life. No, you know what, it happens to people just like you who said that exact same thing. Okay, so don't be the judgmental idiots. Okay, just weird shit happens in the world, just like the kid who climbed into the dishwasher and got stuck in there. All right, that's what happens. It's suspicious. You're like, wow, that's weird, but it happens, and it's sad, and you'd hope it didn't happen, but sometimes shit happens, and nobody's really doing anything wrong. They have no nefarious intent. There's no. Anyways, yeah, it was so cool that she told that story. And then we had the other story last night. That was pretty crazy as well. Well, 3 stories really, because let's see. Loraine Lee, something like that. Loraine Lee, her story was pretty crazy with her sister, and then last night with Layla, my Layla. I was kind of thinking more about that one. It felt like it was that. Here's what I think. After further reflection, I think that had she not done what she did, there'd be 2 dead girls. Because I think he knew at that point that he was going to fight, or she was going to fight him off. He'd have some damage, then he'd try to go get the other one, and then things would just go haywire and he'd get arrested. So he gave up on his plan right at that moment. So That's what I think. Yeah, well, if I was a woman and a solitary hiker, I'd be having a huge gun with me. If you're doing that, you're absolutely not being smart at all if you go out on your own and you don't have a weapon of some sort. Right? You shouldn't have to do that, but you need to do that. Okay? Yeah. So, I don't know if you're still there, left undone, but yeah, it kind of sucked how they didn't let anybody help tell the story. It's actually similar to the, I don't even remember the name of the case now, the missing girl in near 29 Palms. You know, it's just, I just completely let that one go because all sides were completely idiotic in that case. Just, you know, they try to make it about themselves and instead of trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Yeah. It was a mess. It was mildly interesting because you had all these murders all over dead bodies. I'll probably check it. Yeah, Erica Floyd or Lloyd, right? Erica Lloyd. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I said it. Yeah. Thanks, Candace, for repeating exactly what I just said. Thanks. 17 to 20. Hey, that's social distancing. So triple social distancing, I guess. And by the way, in the Allyson Watterson case, we're doing I don't know if you guys are watching or listening to the podcast that 3 Men in a Mystery did. But I have this troll on there, just a total whack job. You know, he keeps trying to point out all this stuff, like, hey, no, you guys missed this because, you know, Allyson, she did drugs too, and you missed this part here. He just is going on and on and on John. You know, it's actually all of our podcast channels, not John Lorden's channel, right? It's a 3 Men in a Mystery podcast YouTube channel, but he's trying to be totally trolling. He's an absolute idiot, you know. But that's all right. Yes, everybody, if you're not a channel member, you should join, and then you can have access to the emojis, and especially, I don't know if you guys saw the new one that looks sort of like me, but that's not even me at all. It's paint. See, I was showing you guys pareidolia, this thing right here, because I was doing a video, and it looked like when I was on the screen just really quick, and I was like, oh wow, that looked weird, and then I looked at it and I go, wow, that looks like me. My visor, goatee, got the headphones on and everything. Turns out it was just paint on a lock. So, you know, you guys missed that episode. You really missed out. In the middle of nowhere, bear. Yeah, it is kind of trippy because no matter, even if it's blown up, it looks like me. I mean, it only looks like me because I'm saying it looks like me, and then it really looks like me. But, you know, if I rotated it, you know, you wouldn't look like anything. It wouldn't. Nah, he's just a total clown, you know. That's just what he does. Okay, so the story that we talked about last night regarding Matthew Nyhammer. So let's see. I don't know if Google Earth. Let me reopen Google Earth. I think I reinstalled my graphics driver. Well, I did the update because I'm always wondering if that's why sometimes my screen just goes psh, and then I have to start over again. Yeah, that's another Matthew. There he is. Yeah, remember he was at this general store here. They found his backpack with his laptop and all that stuff, and apparently he was dropped off there by the girlfriend at 5 in the morning. Yeah, well, we got an update here. The body found in Pemberton Township Cranberry Bog on Wednesday. So they just found a body yesterday. It's a 24-year-old man who had been missing for more than a week. A family friend said Thursday. Pemberton Township Police confirmed Thursday a body was discovered by workers in the White's Bog section of town. Authorities will wait until an autopsy is complete to identify him and determine the cause of death. Family friend Michelle Jackson, however, said Thursday that Matthew Nyhammer was found in an open area near a shed. Nyhammer was located about a mile from White's Bog General Store. So, I mean, I have this ring, and that's a mile radius. So, I mean, there's the store. I don't know, you know, there's probably 1,000 sheds out in this area. But it would seem like it would be something off of a road, not way out. And it was, if it's a shed, it's probably going to be near a road. I mean, a lot of times you don't see a shed that's just sitting right there, you know. Nyhammer was located about a mile from White's Bog General Store. Nyhammer's family reported him missing the next day and began looking for him. Pemberton Township Police, as well as the state police canine units, searched the area repeatedly, and state police also deployed a helicopter to look for Nyhammer. Well, that's weird, right? That his body was found in an open field, and yet a helicopter was looking for him. Was he put there later? His book bag was found in a wooded area near the store on November 3rd with his laptop, a hat, and other personal items scattered around. The last call Nyhammer made was 5:30 a.m. November 3rd to his girlfriend, Jackson said, adding that his phone apparently no longer has service. Yeah, so there you go. Hey, Sass Mayor. How's it going? I was like, what do those two girls have to do with the case? So that's sad news. I tried reaching out to the sister on Facebook, but I'm not a friend of hers, so she probably hasn't seen it. You know? Yeah, well, we don't know yet how he died or anything like that. I think it'll be either shot or some sort of blunt force trauma of some sort. Yeah, that would be cool. All right, so I'm moving on to the actual cases here. I do have some other, people have sent me some interesting cases to talk about. Well, I will throw this update in there, this one. You remember that nurse we talked about like 2 years ago in UK? I guess they're still, the names of 8 tragic babies were today revealed for the first time as a nurse appeared in court accused of murdering them and trying to kill 9 others. Lucy Letby, 30, was arrested for a third time on Tuesday after a 3-year probe into the deaths at the Countess of Chester Hospital. And we covered this a long time ago. Oh, good, Sassmer. Lucy Letby has been charged with murdering 8 babies and trying to kill 10 more. Well, in the other case we were just talking about, I think that the his girlfriend was seen with another guy, and I think that's where the answer to the story is going to be. Something like that. Unless he did something to himself, you know, that I mean, I actually lived next to, I had a neighbor when I was younger, and his girlfriend broke up with him or was seeing somebody else, and he took a gun and shot himself in the head. But then you think, well, there's a backpack with stuff strewn around. Why would that have happened? Sounds like that's where a scuffle was. So look at this dumb idiot here. I mean, what's weird about her is she looks totally normal, this person. She looks like... You need to get like something new over there, Stacy, so your internet works better. Now, she looks like a normal person. Okay, but I'm glad that they're making this look like this. Okay. She today appeared... well, here goes Blue and Chloe again. Attempted murder. The charges relate to 17 babies aged under 1, with one alleged victim falling under both a murder and attempted murder. The names of 8 alleged victims were released by the court today for the first time. So she was a nurse, and somehow they believe that she drugged the babies, and they found out about it because there was this way more than the average going on. These are the 8 babies aged under 1 allegedly murdered by the nurse. Camille Bennett, Joseph Johnson, Elsie McNall, Barney G., Daisy Parkin, Maddie Freed, Joseph Gelder, and Ellie Gelder. Wow, hope that wasn't a brother and sister combination. Jeez. Police launched a probe after the hospital raised concerns at the high number of deaths between 2015 and 16, which were said to be 10% above average. See, that seems weird. Really? I mean, just only 10% above the average? I would think that would be like 10 times the average. I mean, 10%. Okay, so... I mean, now I want to know what the average is. Because what you're saying here, then, if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you said there was 17. If that's 10%, then that means 170 babies normally died, and then all of a sudden there was 187, and that drew some concern. But why are you having 170 babies dying? Seems like a huge number. Anyways, hopefully one of these days they'll actually get her charged and put in there. She's just... The UK has some crazy laws, you know. You can arrest them, hold them for a certain amount of days, and you do this, then you got to let them go if you don't have anything, and then you can arrest them again and bring them in for the same amount. You know, it just goes over and over and over. Yeah, she worked in, with the babies. I think we went over what exactly she was doing at the hospital all those years ago, or I think it was like 2. It's what's weird is I covered it on the show, but I don't remember. This was 3 years ago, but I don't think I was doing live shows in 2017. Not that I remember, anyways. Well, maybe I was late in the year, perhaps. Yeah. Well, obviously, she's somebody that was working at the hospital that had access. Okay, so that was the other update there. And now we're going to move on to the New Jersey girls. And again, everybody, don't forget, we're continuing on the month. We got to raise funds for the end of the month to be able to get up to our $20,000 goal. We've done $18,000 so far. Yeah. We don't know. Let's see. Thanks, Kuba Check. And it's my channel. You're helping my channel and the charities, okay? It's not just for charity. All right. I'm just trying to open up that folder. I lost it right before the show. I had to. Okay, here we go. Oh, thanks, Jessica Schubach. Hey, great bubblegum. Sure, that's always good. Okay, the first case we're going to be talking about is Theresa Maria I think it's Casero, but they had it totally wrong, so I missed some articles and I found out that it was spelled differently. Hate that when that happens.
Forsam grape babbeljam.
Hey, man, you guys gotta, if you're gonna send in super chats, you gotta type in a whole bunch more so you can hear that great, I think it's like a Japanese voice that they're using. Alright? It was supposed to help you get excited to help out a little bit. Alright, here we go. This is back in 1973, this first one. I found some actually in the New York, the Daily News, not the New York Times or anything like that. An attractive, shapely 16-year-old. Now, shapely, I think that would have bothered Curious Georgia by them using that term. How dare you! An attractive, shapely 16-year-old Willingboro girl was found murdered yesterday. Her partially nude body was, let me show you what she looks like. This is her right there. Okay. Her partially nude body, gagged, bound, and stuffed into her bedroom closet. The body of Theresa Maria, see, they have Caseiro, but it's actually Caseiro, I believe, unless... Well, what's weird is the website that I'm using says Caseiro, but her name appears in way more articles as Caseiro. And I think I've seen that one before. But the body was found by her grandfather, Anthony Gorman, of nearby Groville at 11:20 a.m. The girl's blouse was open, and her pants were pulled down to her ankles. Her hands and legs were bound with heavy cord. Her stockings were stuffed into her mouth. Police refused to disclose details of the murder, but it was learned there are no immediate suspects. It was not revealed, however, or wasn't revealed how the girl was killed, but sources say she may have been strangled or suffocated by the stockings. It was not determined if she had been raped. Hold on one second. Thanks, Tracy.
Super freaks were super freaky.
Yeah? Alright. Super freaks. You're real super freaky. Theresa lived with neighbors during the last 2 weeks. So she had been living with neighbors for the last 2 weeks. But she frequently visited her home at 63 Buttercup Lane to do household chores. And she just happened to be there. That's the crazy. Her parents, Albert and Darlene Caseiro, now they're spelling it Caseiro the correct way. And their 3 other children, Lisa, Mary, Beth, and Christopher, are all in Portland, Maine, looking for a house. So they were going to actually be moving too. Mr. Caseiro, a bank accountant, is being transferred there in September. And this is the home right here. It's just this cute little, you know. I think it's 62, right? Yeah. What was it, 63? Let me go back. I think it was 63. Yeah, 63 Buttercup Lane. Yeah. Like a little bungalow deal. So in that house is where they found her. It's weird when you can actually see it like that. She worked this summer as a file clerk in the emergency room of nearby Rancocas Valley Hospital. She was very intelligent, polite girl who kept to herself, said Assistant Hospital Administrator Robert Stone. The girl was last seen alive by neighbors at 10 a.m. Monday when she was hanging clothes in the backyard of her house. So that was at 10 a.m. She was just probably, drying laundry, I guess. She did not report to work Monday or yesterday. The neighbors she lived with called the hospital in an attempt to locate her early Tuesday morning. Her grandfather went to check the house and found the body. Friends said Theresa, who was preparing to move to Maine and change schools soon, was an exchange student in Portugal last year and collected antiques as a hobby. The elder, now it says Caserios again, are Portuguese. And this is a different story here. I mean, it has nothing to do with this one, but it was just interesting. Abducted woman killed by a blow. You sort of wonder if this is... I think this one got resolved, though. It had nothing to do with it, though. Slain, Willsboro girl, 16, found in closet. See, that picture there looks totally different than... I mean, it looked similar to that one, but now she has that classic, the long hair with the part in the middle that it seems like everybody had over there during that time. Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't seem like I think my channel is in sort of a weird slot where I'm not getting the same number of people that used to come to it. That's what really kind of has me down a little bit. Because it's not like whatever happened and they changed something, now it doesn't even come close to what I used to have. So when they did that investigation, they did that investigation and they said, oh yeah, your account is findable. It's searchable now. But I don't think it is. No, it has nothing to do with later shows, Darlene. This is the same time as every show that I used to do every single time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure what the hell's going on. I think they put the whatever they put on the account. It hasn't. They said they took it off. I don't know. You guys can find my videos now, right? Like if you go onto YouTube and you type in Gray Hughes Delphi, it shows up, right? Oh, really? Huh. Or maybe nobody's interested in the New Jersey girl murders. Maybe that's it. Maybe what I need to do is a couple, Morphew. We'll do a night of just Morphew, Delphi, and we'll throw in a little Chad and Lori Daybell and... Yeah.
Thanks Gray and Freaks for all ljudleende ansikte med 3 hjärtan.
What? Thanks, Linda Howell, and thank you for your PayPal earlier. Appreciate it. Linda Molden Howe as the cattle mutilations and crop circles. Yeah. Yeah, you get a notification, but... Well, it might also be now because people are interested in... It's more of like... there's different things right now. Political stuff is pretty big. So it could just be that. We haven't sort of gotten back into the sort of true crime being at the top of a list. Because I find myself watching political stuff almost, like throughout the day. I don't know. Revisit what? What case? People are still talking about Morphew right now? God, what a joke. Like I've said before, the thing that would be the best for the true crime community would be if Barry Morphew was innocent. I would literally do a jig. I'll jump in the air and try to click my heels together. Okay? He probably, he's always been somebody that was suspicious to me. But I think it'd be great. Man, it'd be awesome. Yeah, and people are still doing Chris Watts after all this time. Don't you find that mind-boggling? What in the hell does Chris Watts have to offer?
Well, don't you know, people are interested in what he had to eat, and I have some of my best people digging through his crap in the toilets.
You do? That's sick. That is sick, John boy. What do you mean? What are they finding in the toilet?
Well, they're finding all kinds of things. Broccoli, spinach, some corn sometimes. It's really amazing. They're giving nice meals there, though, okay?
Well, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, nothing, but people are so obsessed with the case, I figured they'd talk about just about anything.
Oh, wow. That's a great idea. Well, we should do a show on the manure piles that seem to be building up in the corner of his jail cell.
Oh, wow. I never thought of that one. Does that exist?
No, it doesn't, but it will still get people to watch.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Yeah, wow, that's really strange. Huh. Interesting stuff there. Okay. Anyways, let me get back to this case over here, all right? Police are seeking a tall, sandy-haired man who was seen entering the home of a 16-year-old township girl. So now they actually saw a witness. I mean, there's actually a witness to an actual suspect here. So they saw a tall, sandy-haired man who was seen entering the home of a 16-year-old township girl whose bound and gagged body was found inside a bedroom closet of the house yesterday. An autopsy performed last night at Rancocas Valley Hospital showed Theresa Maria Casero of 63 Buttercup Lane, a student at John F. Kennedy High School, died from asphyxiation and approximately 50 stab wounds of the chest and body. Jesus. These guys... See, that sounds similar to some of these other ones that we've talked about, doesn't it, already? Remember, because a couple of the other ones had brutal stabbings and then items stuffed in their mouth. Police said a man's support stocking had been stuffed down her throat. What's a support stocking? You mean like tube socks or something? Had been stuffed down her throat, and she had been beaten on the head with a blunt object. There was no evidence of sexual assault, according to state medical examiner. That's hard to believe. Her pants were pulled down. It just, Her partially disrobed body was found at about... Well, it could have been that she just kept putting up a fight, even though he had her tied down, and he just let his rage come out with the knife, and he never did that. But I don't know. It feels like, her condition seems like that's what he was doing. Her partially disrobed body was found at about 11:20 a.m. Wow. So, but she was seen, wasn't she seen out in the backyard hanging stuff up at like 10? So she was found dead at 11:20 a.m. yesterday by her grandfather, Anthony Gorman of Broad Street. He searched the house where his granddaughter had last been seen. The girl had been staying with the neighbors across the street while her parents were on a 2-week trip to Maine in search of a new home. Police Chief Robert A. Rossell said Miss Caseiro was last seen alive at about 10 a.m. Monday and was reported missing at about 11 p.m. on Monday. Oh, so this is on Tuesday when she was found. With whom, 11 p.m. Monday by friends with whom she had been staying. So she was last seen alive at 10 a.m. And then the people across the street she was staying with at 11 p.m. said, you know what, something's wrong here. And they called police. Police are seeking a man about 6'2", about 40 years old, stocky build, wearing a light jacket. What do you mean by light jacket? Do you have a color? And driving a red car. Didn't we have a red car on one of these other ones? See, this is what I'm saying. I wish I had like this database, but I thought we had a red car in one of the other stories. Do you guys kind of vaguely remember that? He was seen by a neighbor entering the Caseiro house through the front door. Let's see. I don't know. We're talking 1973, guys. I think they're just talking about tube socks or something. Those are kind of like sports socks. That's what they were called back then. All right, let's not overthink it. Who gives a shit? Okay, they were his socks. He put it in her mouth. We're spending way too many comments about Oh boy. Anyways, across the street while her parents were on a 2-week trip to Maine. That's where she was staying. Caseiro's house. She went. Let's see. 40-year-old, stocky build, wearing a light jacket, driving a red car. He was seen by a neighbor entering the Caseiro house through the front door. I know we've talked about a red car, though. Oh, it was a VW? Okay. Between 10:30 and 11 a.m. Monday, although police confirmed a composite sketch had been made of the man, Russell would not release the sketch until it had been checked out and would not confirm that the man was a suspect. He said that the other departments may not yet been instructed to be on the lookout for the man, Miss Casero, who had a summer job as a clerk in the emergency room billing department of Rancocas Valley Hospital from 4 to 9 p.m. daily, did not report for work Monday. Right. Yeah, because she was seen hanging stuff in the backyard at 10, then was killed, never made it to go to work to 4 to 9. And then that very same night, they probably even called her home, and they waited around for a couple hours and then called at the neighbor's house, I mean. We found she was clad in a blouse and blue dungarees. Oh, wow. They must have been corduroy, which had been pulled to her ankles. Her hands and feet were tied. That's kind of weird, too. It makes you think that her feet were tied first, then her pants pulled down. Because you wouldn't need to have tied her feet in a way if you just pulled, the jeans down, because it kind of keeps your legs from moving around. Although you can easily pull your leg out. Okay. Her hands and feet were tied with stockings, and her mouth was gagged, he added. And her mouth was gagged with a man's support stocking. So it's his. That's all that really matters. It's something of his own that he wore. I feel like in this case, they've got a ton of stuff that they could, if they stored over the years, they could test for DNA. That sock is absolutely incredible. He probably had it on his foot, and all you have to do is test it, and the male DNA that's on that sock is going to be your killer. Unless he found the sock in the house and it wasn't his, that would be a problem. Oh, God. Haven't you guys been watching the show, the whole dungaree thing? It's ridiculous. Okay. No, they had the overalls. Don't you remember? It was overall dungarees. And then it went, and then they said they were corduroy. But then jeans aren't corduroy. So why the hell would you call them jeans at that point? Yeah, I've seen another definition for it. For the swearing under your breath jar. All right. I want to do a whole show on dungarees, though. See if I can get that.
For the swearing under my breath jar.
All right. See if I can get the viewership down to about 6. Okay. It's such a fascinating topic. Thanks, Bush and Beach Lifestyle. Miss Casero, who had a summer job as a clerk, we got that. When she was when found, she was clad in a blouse and blue dungarees, which had been pulled to her ankles. Her hands and feet were tied with stockings, and her mouth gagged, he added. So I wonder if those were her stockings. He might have just grabbed stuff a little bit like the East Area Rapist, Golden State Killer, stuff from the house. Russell, and there were no signs that the house had been broken into or that a struggle had taken place. The doors were locked, he noted. He said the facts indicate... I think I have a second page here. Maybe I don't know if I actually went to that other page on this one, because there's so many. This is 723. Let's see. Attractive 16-year-old girl was found murdered today. Her partially nude body gagged and bound, stuffed in the bedroom closet, choked to death. Police refused to disclose details of the murder, but it was learned that there are no immediate suspects. They would not reveal how the girl was killed, but sources say she may have been choked by the stocking. It was not determined if she had been raped. Theresa had lived with neighbors during the last weeks, but had frequently visited her home at 63 Buttercup Lane, just across the street, to do household chores. Her parents, Albert and Darlene Caseiro, both Portuguese, and their 3 other children, Lisa, Mary, Beth, and Christopher, are all in Portland, Maine, looking for a house. Sources said, so this person almost seems like he knew she was on her, left alone. And I wonder if where she worked somehow at that hospital, somebody overheard something. An orderly or some shit like that. Okay, let's just move on to different topics there, Zozo. We don't want to keep doing the dungaree shit, okay? Jesus. Sources said there was no force entry into the Caseiro home, a nicely decorated 4-bedroom Cape Cod-style house. Theresa may have known her killer, police sources said. See, there you go. Maybe he was somebody that worked at the hospital, because you'd have to have known that she was alone, with having a family with that many people in it, right? She worked this summer as a file clerk in the emergency room of Ranacocas Valley Hospital. She was they should have went to that hospital and see if there's anybody that works there that has a red vehicle, and then narrow it down like that. They may have done that. The girl was last seen alive by neighbors at 10 a.m. Monday when she was hanging clothes. I'm just kind of going through the articles as they came into the... This one's on the 28th. That last one was the 25th. Clues slim in murder of girl 16. Police here today reported no new leads in the murder of 16-year-old Theresa Maria Casero, but continued their search for a sandy-haired man in his 40s. A sketch of the man who was seen entering the Caseiro home at 63 Buttercup Lane. Let's see, by neighbors at approximate time. This is hard to read because it's blurry on the edges for me anyway. Time of the murder Monday has been released by police. Miss Caseiro was found Tuesday bound and gagged and stuffed in a closet of the family home by her grandfather. An autopsy concluded she died of asphyxiation caused by a sock stuffed down her throat. I mean, how does somebody actually do that? That's crazy. I don't know. For the last week, the thumbs up. Well, everyone else seems to be able to hit the thumbs up, I guess. I don't know. But she also reportedly had been stabbed several times. They said 50. And beaten about the face and head. Miss Caseiro was buried in Oddfellows Cemetery. And there was 125 people there. And then 3 days after that, police say fingerprints at the scene may be a clue. Police said today certain fingerprints lifted at the scene of the murder of a 16-year-old township girl last week, maybe those of her slayer. We are checking those prints, those on file with the FBI. I guess a lot of women call in. Let's see, the people who call are mostly women, and every call is checked out. Detectives investigating the case are looking for a man about 40 years old, about 6'2". Wonder how they are so specific about the height. And 240 pounds. I mean, that's a pretty big guy, 6'2", 240. He is believed to have sandy-colored hair. The man said to have been seen at the Caseiro house the day Miss Caseiro was last seen alive, July 23rd. He was reportedly parked a red or maroon late model car in front of the home. See, it's weird that he didn't care about parking his car in the front, right? strange. Yeah, I mean, he's crazy. She was a clerk in the billing department, an emergency ward at the hospital. Police said she had been staying with neighbors across the street while her parents' brother and 2 sisters were in Maine. But despite the fingerprints, composite picture of the suspect, and the telephone leads, we are no closer to catching the killer than we were when we first started looking for it. That's the house right there. Again. Now let's see what their... This is like a profile here. Yeah. A famous psychiatrist who has been called in by township police here to help solve the stabbing murder of a 16-year-old girl 3 weeks ago said he has found certain significant features in the case which may lead to the identity of the killer. Dr. James A. Brussel, noted New York forensic psychiatrist who aided in such much publicized cases as the Boston Strangler and the Mad Bomber, said he will try to make a mosaic of the unknown assailant who murdered Theresa Maria Casero July 24th. Ms. Casero's stabbed and beaten body was found in a bedroom closet in her home at 63 Buttercup Lane here while her parents were in Maine looking for a new home. Brussels, 68, said he had visited Willingboro where he consulted with police investigators, examined clues and the autopsy report, and sifted through all the information available. Important signs to be considered include location and position of the body, time of day, the weather, and whether the grass was cut at the scene of the killing, Brussels said. Why would that matter? You think it's the lawnmower guy? The doctor said combining these and other factors may result in a picture both physical and psychological of the man or men police are after, and that is he has found several indications pointing to a personality in the case. Russell declined to reveal his findings. This guy almost sounds like he's a, it's like, what do you call him? A psychic, Brussels said his investigation follow an old-fashioned but worthwhile victim, that every piece of actual and real evidence must fit neatly and snugly. If one piece must be forced into the mosaic, or if there are one left, I must start all over, he said. I kind of agree with that a little bit. But the psychiatrist said crimes in which multiple stab wounds are inflicted, such as those suffered by Miss Caseiro, indicate the assailant is a psychotic individual. Yeah, or just really angry. I think we all agree, like, to do something like that would make you, we would say, he's psycho. We know from those we've interviewed that they are generally a paranoiac type of schizoid, Brussel continued. But a person suffering from paranoia has a single, well-formed, unchanged delusion, while a schizophrenic has one or more delusions. Paranoics are cunning and shrewd, Brussel said. He may even plan for snags in the carrying out of the deeds. He is very clever in covering his movements. He doesn't advertise himself. You mean with the red car in the driveway? He doesn't wear flashy clothes. You mean like the red car in the driveway? Nor a beard unless it is well trimmed. Nothing to draw attention. He's very neat in his appearance. Most have a reasonable education. Probably, what does it say? Where is that? Most have a reasonable education, probably completed high school. Many are very proper, exhibiting impeccable conduct outside of their crimes. This guy's like way overthinking it at this point. I mean, this is just prior to, the behavioral unit, or right around that time. I'm not sure what year that was. Wasn't that like the early 80s, that show that we watch, or was it late 70s? On, the FBI, how they started doing profiling by interviewing serial killers. Russell said it is frequently possible to determine the extent of such person's education by the way he commits his crimes. He said it is usually difficult to get a close description of such a person, although he may have been born with a distinguishing characteristic, such as a red hair or very athletic build, which a witness would remember. He said the neighborhood in which a psychotic commits his crimes may indicate his race. I don't know about that. It would be unusual to find such an individual operating in a section he would feel uncomfortable or where he would stand out. Yeah, I mean, you see all kinds of different races killing in different areas. It doesn't seem to... I don't think it's unusual at all. The peak manifestation of paranoiacs and paranoiac schizophrenic is during their 30s. Let's see. Their backgrounds are marked by feelings in their early days of abandonment by their mothers and domineering tyranny from their father. They feel unloved and unlovable. Therefore, they don't pursue normal sexual development, but seek a childish type of gratification, frequently through violence. They may exhibit unusual sex drive with or without murder. Brussels said such individuals seldom, if ever, work together, referring to reports of recent discovery in Houston, Texas, of mass slayings of young men and boys. The doctor said the killing was probably part of the sadistic sex acts allegedly committed by suspects. Brussels says he does make mistakes in his work. Really? Jeez. That it has been found this type of investigation results in about a 15% margin of error, but I can usually find enough to give the authorities some leads. I would just say go look at the hospital. I think it's somebody that knew that she was there alone. And, she for 2 weeks, she's probably at the hospital talking it up with people. Oh, yeah, I'm staying at the neighbors across the street. I'm by myself. What's interesting, though, is how would they have known that she was going to go over and do some chores? Were they just scoping out? He says, in addition to working with the FBI, Brussels has worked with the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Division. He was involved in counter-espionage. I mean, maybe what he was saying, so it just doesn't sound... It sounds too... speculative to me. Although, I mean, he was saying he got to see the entire crime scene and everything. All right. Anyways, I'll be back in a minute. Thanks, Darrell Griggs. Actually, let me just finish this one. There's only one more.
Freaks Vada, family hope, everyone's great.
Thanks, Darrell Griggs. Let's see, last summer the victim was 16-year-old Theresa Maria Casero, stabbed repeatedly with a stocking jammed down her throat, and 4-year-old Brenda See, they're just talking about, do they have their own Boston Strangler here? But that was the last article. That one was actually 74. So, anyways, I'll be back in a minute. Oops, just a second. I was already had that turned off. Yeah. Okay, the next one we're going to do is, her name is Ann Logan. Alright, there she is right there. Are you guys done with your jokes so we can get moving here? Thanks. Alright, it said body of New Jersey co-ed found near a car. Okay, this is Ann Logan here. Police today are investigating the death of Seton Hall University co-ed who was found in a deserted street near her car with her head crushed with a rock. So I think in this case they might actually have a lot of forensic information. Police said Ann Logan, 19, who had been reported missing by her parents yesterday, was found lying near her 1968 Cougar, that's her vehicle, on East 8th Avenue by a passerby walking a dog about 6 a.m. Let's see. A rock smeared with blood was found near her body. They said her clothes were disheveled from the waist down, suggesting, and this is in 1973 September. The other case that we just talked about was July 1973, July 24th, so it's only about 6 or 7 weeks later. Police said Miss Logan, whose father is vice president... Wait, hold on. They said her clothes were disheveled from the waist down, suggesting a strong possibility that the second semester sociology major had been sexually molested. Police said, but it sounds a lot like that other one, right? Police said Miss Logan, whose father is vice president in charge of research and development at Thomas and Betts Company in Elizabeth, left her part-time job as supervisor of cashiers at the Stop and Shop in Garwood at 11:30 p.m. Tuesday and was reported missing by her parents after she failed to return home. And I think I actually have all of that. So this is where the Stop and Shop was. If I pan out, look at all these other. All the yellow ones are the ones we've already covered here, or aspects of it. So that Stop and Shop was right here at this intersection. Right near here. And apparently she was last seen there at 11:30 p.m. Tuesday and was reported missing by her parents after she failed to return home. Captain Robert J. Hamilton said an autopsy revealed Miss Logan died of strangulation and beating about the head. Hamilton said the strong possibility exists that she had been raped, although the results of examination are to be released today. She was a quiet, beautiful girl. She babysat for my children, said James J. Higgins, a neighbor whose funeral home was handling arrangements. Miss Logan is survived by her parents and a sister, Mary, 22, and a brother, 26. And she's only 19. And then a day later, hunt for Slayer goes on as she's buried. 19-year-old Ann Logan, whose body was found here Wednesday, is to be buried Friday as a police search continues for the murderer who strangled the attractive brunette co-ed and crushed her skull with a brick. Miss Logan's partially nude body was found in a wooded area by a man walking his dog. Her skirt and slip were pulled up and her waist and her pantyhose had been ripped away. Police said she was strangled and her skull and facial bones were fractured. See, it seems similar, a little bit similar to that last one because it shows that same anger. I mean, just pounding somebody's face in with a brick. You know, it's ridiculous. Police Chief Charles, and everything else is kind of similar, although she's not bound, right? Was she bound? Didn't seem like it. Police Chief Charles Radecki said Miss Logan, an Elizabeth resident who knew karate, so she even knew karate, right, may have injured her attacker. Her fingernails were broken, and she apparently put up a fierce fight for her life. Radecki said more than a dozen friends and acquaintances were questioned Thursday, but there were no firm suspects. A set of footprints and a blood-soaked man's undershirt were found not far from the body. So if they still have that shirt, there's definitely going to be some DNA under, on the inside of that shirt, right? They have to have it. This is the one I was really like, come on, you guys. I mean, if you guys did any kind of job at all and preserved any of this stuff. Dr. Joseph S. Guzik said the woman apparently died about 6 hours before she was found. Cause of death was listed as asphyxiation from strangulation. Police said she may have been garroted with a strap from her purse. There also were signs that she was choked manually as well. Miss Logan, a sophomore sociology major at Seton Hall University in South Orange, was last seen alive when she left her job at the Stop and Shop supermarket in Garwood, about 5 miles west of here. Friends said they assumed she was alone when she drove home, but police theorized her killer could have been with her, perhaps hidden in the car, that's what I think, when she left the supermarket parking lot. They also speculated she could have been accosted after stopping to aid a motorist in distress or have been forced off the road, or the person just confronted her right at her vehicle and forced her to get into it and he took her key, something like that. Her friends and family said she would not have picked up a hitchhiker. Her late model car was found not far from the body. Police said there were bloodstains on the outside of the auto, but that the interior was clean. So that means, he drove where he took her out of the car. She probably put up a fight, and maybe that's, he was trying to assault her. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. And then he killed her because she was really putting up a big fight. She knew karate, broke her fingernails. And maybe that's why she's not alive. This might be a different person. Hey, Dur, what are you doing, man? Yeah, just remove that idiot from the channel. He's just one of those trolls, uninteresting, worthless, just completely mind-bogglingly. Hey, everybody knows who it is. Yes, it must be Ed Edwards, everybody. The guy who's killed every single person that doesn't have an answer. Give me a break. Miss Logan was the daughter of... Let's see, they also speculate... Okay, we already went through this. Her late model car was found not far from the body. Police believe dead girl knew her rapist assailant. Investigators probing the rape slaying... I don't know how they can possibly know that. Of a 19-year-old Seton Hall University co-ed are proceeding on the assumption that the victim knew her assailant. Cooper said the supposition is based on information provided by friends of Ann Logan and by evidence garnered from the site where the body was found. Miss Logan's half-clad, battered body was discovered last Wednesday in a wooded area of Roselle, a few miles south of the Logan home here. An autopsy indicated she was killed early Wednesday morning. Police say the area is known locally as Lover's Lane and is regularly patrolled, and actually have that location too. It's right here, well, that's her home. Hold on a second. And then this is where the car was found. So here's where her home is. This is a home that was listed for the father. I don't know for sure, but it seems to match when they said it's a few miles south of the home. And this is one of the father's homes right here. So I think she lived right there. And then her automobile was found, and she was found on, it was called Lover's Lane, and I can kind of picture how this has probably been her, obviously, for a long time. And probably over the years they've added homes, but I bet you this used to be like a a place where you could park a car or something on here. And I think her car was found somewhere right around in this area, because that road's really short. It just goes from there to here, and it just feels like this would be the end where Lover's Lane, where somebody might park, or could have been all along here. Let's see. Miss Logan's half-clad, battered body was discovered last Wednesday in a wooded area of Roselle, a few miles south. We have to check out there quite frequently to get the kids out of there, said Roselle Police Chief Charles Raddick. But on the night of the murder, we had a busy night and had forgotten, and had to forget about that. Miss Logan was last seen, so just that one night, they were busy doing other stuff, so they didn't check that area. She was last seen shortly before midnight Tuesday as she left the shop supermarket in Garwood, where she worked as a cashier. She presumably left the supermarket parking lot in her car, which was found a short distance from where her body was discovered. The belief that Miss Logan might have known her killer was reinforced by the car's appearance, which bore no signs of a struggle. Yeah, but so what? I mean, if he had a weapon or something and said, I mean, just because she was killed with the rock doesn't mean he didn't have a gun or something, or a knife, and she's going to comply with what he's saying to do, and then he had her get out of the car. You know, maybe she didn't feel like that was the time to be struggling. But a fierce battle for life at some point because several fingernails were broken. So that was after she got out of the vehicle, yeah. Meanwhile, a source close to the case said blood-stained man's undershirt found at the scene apparently contained only the victim's blood. It had been hoped that the undershirt might yield information on the killer's blood type. Yeah, that'd be great, but the shirt right now, if you still have the shirt, has DNA from the killer on the inside of that shirt. He took the shirt off because he got blood spatter all over it when he smashed your head with the brick. And so he took it off, but the inside of that shirt is definitely going to have some DNA on it. Right? Oh, Jesus. Hey. Thanks, Stacy. I appreciate it. Pretty slow night tonight. But I appreciate it.
Thank you for all the wonderful things you do. You're the best true crime investigator. You're so generous and thoughtful. I love you, my wonderful friend. Andy Love, all the freaks. You're a like family for me. Lila hjärta, lila hjärta, lila hjärta, lila hjärta, lila hjärta.
Oh, that was so cool. Thanks. Thank you very much. Love you too. Stacy Galloway. Awesome. I wish it had read with the normal voice, but hey, that was still funny though. Yeah. Yeah. Seems like I've gotten lucky a couple nights. We've had a couple of the worst nights we've ever had of all these years. It makes me feel like I'm getting worse at what I'm doing or something. But then a couple people come through with something and it's like, oh, fine, okay, good. That'll keep us moving forward. Anyways, thank you very much. So that was it for that. Let me read the little piece that was on that website. Abducted in and found near her vehicle, bloodstains on exterior of the vehicle, battered with brick on the skull and face, skirt pulled up around the waist, pantyhose torn away, fingernails broken, struggle, departing work late at night. Seton Hall University co-ed reported missing by parents after failing to return home from Stop and Shop. at 30 South Avenue in Garwood at 11:30, found lying near her 1968 Cougar on East 8th Avenue by passerby. Brick smeared in blood found nearby. Victim, trained in karate, apparently fought back. May have been strangled with strap of her purse or rope wire and perhaps only manually choked. A man's t-shirt soaked in victim's blood found nearby. They've got to have some DNA in that one. Yeah, maybe it's YouTube. I don't know. Thanks, Audio Caspian Horses Rock. Found Wednesday, September 19th, near her car on East 8th Avenue. Right. So that's it for that one. And then we're going to move on to the next one. I got three more to go. So, and then I'm going to finish off all of these off that website, and then I'm going to find the ones that I hadn't done because I think I skipped over a couple. And then we'll get, I'm putting these all in a playlist. Yeah. Well, everybody loves having you around, Stacy. Stacy always makes everything a little happier and better. Okay, so this one only had very little on it. Actually, I don't know. Hold on a second. Seems like I had more than that. That's odd. Now this one's Suzanne Garden. Girl seen once prior to slaying. Police say 14-year-old Suzanne Garden was seen once between the time she left her Morris Boulevard home, January 27th, and the discovery late Wednesday of her partially clad, beaten body. So this is 1974, January 27th. I mean, again, you know, they all sound so similar, it's weird. And discovered late Wednesday of her partially clad, beaten body. According to Detective Captain Thomas Walton, Miss Garden, a freshman at Toms River High School South, was spotted between noon and 1 p.m. January 30th in the downtown business section about a day after neighbors said she ran away from home. Miss Garden's body was found 2 days later by two juveniles playing in a clearing off Maple Crest Road and Delaware Avenue. Yeah, so this is her home right here. So, you know, just panning out with all these other ones. That's her home right here. Right there. Let's see, Miss Garden's body was found 2 days later by two juveniles playing in a clearing off Maple Crest Road and Delaware Avenue, about a mile from her home. She had been strangled, stabbed, and sexually assaulted. Captain Walton said detectives have few leads, even though they have been working on the case with only about 3 hours of sleep daily. More than 400 persons have been interviewed by police and county detectives. Miss Garden did not have a steady boyfriend, Captain Walton said. Police are asking anyone who thinks they may have seen the girl between January 27th and 30 to notify the department. Miss Garden was 5'4", 112 pounds, and had brown eyes and hair She may have been wearing blue dungarees. There you go again, the corduroy pants. A white t-shirt and green sweater or white trousers, and a long white coat, Captain Walton said. Yeah, it's almost like I feel like I put those in the wrong folder or something somewhere. Some of these other ones. Let me see what the date is again. February, and this happened January. So this says beaten about the head and face, found clad in blue jeans, panties, socks, and boots. Blouse and bra found some distance from the body. Stabbed several times in the chest. Now we got the stabbing again. Sexually assaulted in the breast area, which sounds to me like she was, either he, I don't know if he bit her there or he, relieved himself on her there. No penetrative rape reported. Clothing reported to be, so this is another one where they should have DNA and have swabbed it up. Clothing reported to be different from that she wore when reported missing by her mother. Suzanne Garden, 14, left home from 329 Morris Boulevard, Toms River, Sunday, January 27th, 1974. Her mother reported her missing shortly afterwards. She reportedly seen on the next day in the business area. Body found Wednesday, January 30th, 1974 in wooded area near corners of Maple Crest Road and Delaware Avenue. And so that she was found right over here, right near this intersection. And look at this wooded area. It's huge, really. I mean, for just being in the middle of a park like that. So they said it was found near this intersection in the woods. So I imagine it wasn't far off because somebody just walking by saw her. Yeah, so this is a different one now. Okay, so that case, that's all I had. There might have been some more in the paper there. That kind of pretty much said it. She disappeared from her home. She kind of ran away. And then this is where she lived, right over here. And then her body's found in the woods right here. Stabbed and sexually assaulted, murdered. All right, now the next one is Cynthia Leslie, and again, that's what she looked like, the last one. Cynthia Leslie, right here. Yeah, that's weird too, because I remember I might have actually put some of hers in this other article, but they kind of were thinking that these two might be related. So Cynthia Leslie here now. Okay, missing woman's body found. And it says the body of a missing Beechwood woman was found yesterday in a clump of woods here, and police said the woman apparently was strangled. A police spokesman said Sunday the body of Cynthia A. Leslie, 18, was found at 1:15 p.m. by a woman walking her dog at the end of Messenger Street, a residential area in the downtown section of Toms River. She had been a subject of a police search since she was reported missing last Tuesday. She was last seen alive when she left her office at Ocean County Advertising Company for lunch at 1 p.m. Her picture was printed in the local papers in an effort to locate the woman. The spokesman declined to comment on the condition of Miss Leslie's body, but said the woman had apparently been strangled to death. Her disappearance, murder, followed another such case in the area a month before, and that Susan Garden, 14, was found raped and stabbed to death 3 days after she was reported missing from her home at Guilford Park, 6 miles from Toms River. Beechwood is about 1.5 miles from here. The spokesman declined to speculate if there was a possible connection between the two murders, but added both of them were murdered, both were missing. Those are similarities right there, and both were found in wooded areas. So there you go. Strangling noted. An autopsy revealed Monday that a Beechwood woman found in a clump of woods fully clothed 5 days after she had been reported missing died of strangulation. Martin B. Anton said 18-year-old... I think this murder, though, might not be related to that last one, based on some of this other information that comes up. Martin B. Anton said 18-year-old Cynthia Leslie, the second female killed in the Ocean County community in 2 months, had been strangled. Her body was found Sunday by a woman walking a dog. Ocean County Medical Examiner Dr. Walter Corrigan confirmed the autopsy report and said there was no evidence that the victim had been sexually molested. However, we are conducting additional lab tests to confirm our superficial evaluation of this, he said. Corrigan would not comment whether the woman had been beaten or stabbed. We are holding some information back because we don't want the person who did this to know what we know. Miss Leslie was last seen alive February 26th when she left the Ocean City advertising service here, where she worked as a billing clerk. She was the subject of a police search when she was reported missing by her parents. Okay, so they're kind of wondering at the time. I do have this all mapped out too. So this is where Cynthia Leslie lived, in this house right here. This one. Alright, and then this is the high school that both of them went to, was Tom's High School. So right there, both those girls both had gone to this high school right there. Police question 50 in slang. She'd last been seen alive February 24th when she left the Ocean City advertising service. Anton refuses to speculate if there was a connection between Miss Leslie's death and that of another girl, Suzanne Garden. Fear seizes Toms River in wake of brutal murder. See, now they have a picture of both of them right here. When the body of 14-year-old Suzanne Garden was discovered here last January, an air of caution settled into the community of middle-class working families. But when 18-year-old Cynthia Leslie simply disappeared while walking the few blocks between her office and a bank on a noontime errand, and then was discovered murdered last Sunday, the caution turned to downright fear. Police patrols have been doubled, parental concern has risen sharply, and strangers are unwelcome visitors whose questions are unanswered briefly and without encouragement through locked screen doors. What puzzles and scares people here is that there appear to be no motives for the killings. Neither girl was sexually molested, and neither was robbed. Both girls were strangled and stabbed. I am scared to death at night around here, said Mrs. Dean Corsair, as she talked with a reporter through the locked screen door on her house on Nautilus Street, just a few doors from the Leslie girls' home. I never used to lock my door, but now I do. See, that's the same shit that happened in Delphi, right? You know, Delphi, they didn't lock the doors, and then boom, you get something like this, and then everybody starts doing it. It began on Sunday afternoon, January 27th, when Suzanne Garden had an argument with her mother, Miss Suzanne Beards, and left her home at 329 Morris Boulevard. Suzanne, a freshman at Toms River High School, did not return home, but she was seen as late as 7:30 p.m. the following day. Her body was found January 31st in a ditch on Delaware Avenue in adjacent Dover Township. Her green sweater and white t-shirt had been ripped from her body, and she had been strangled and stabbed. She still had the $5 bill she had taken when she left home. There was a flurry of concern, but it soon subsided only to surface and heighten last Sunday when Cynthia Leslie was found strangled and stabbed to death in a clump of bushes near an advertising agency in Beechwood, just outside Toms River, where she lived and worked. Cynthia, a graduate at Toms River High, was last seen in her office about noon the preceding Tuesday. She was going to the nearby First National Bank of Toms River to deposit $6,500 in checks from an ad agency. Wow. Oh, she never even arrived? That shit. That's a lot of money to have lost for that advertising agency, too. In check. I wonder if the money was... She never arrived at the bank. Some of the checks were found on her body along with $100 in cash. So, robbery wasn't the motive, but that's probably about 20 grand today, at least. 25, 30 even. We don't know what the motives may be, said Captain Thomas Walton of the Dover Township Police Department. The only similarities is that both girls went to the same school. A squad of 35 detectives from the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office and from the Dover Force have interviewed nearly 800 persons. Yep. So, got these two girls. Inquiries continue. For the third consecutive day, Ocean County detectives and local police were expected this morning to resume interviews with acquaintances of an 18-year-old Beechwood girl found murdered. Miss Cynthia Leslie, 43, of Nautilus Street, was strangled to death February 26. She was last seen about 1:30 p.m. at Highland Parkway and Walter Street arguing. So now we've got more information here. She was actually seen... I didn't give you guys this information earlier, but she was seen arguing with somebody right here. Okay, so let me move it. Put this here. Right in this area, she was seen arguing with some guy. And let's see, because now that I think about it, it sounds like he looks similar to the individual who broke in. Let's see. Arguing with a young man, so it's a young man described as white with collar-length, dirty blonde, or light brown hair. So doesn't that sound similar to the guy that broke into that house 2 stories ago? Her body was found by a woman walking a dog about 250 feet from the scene of the argument. Although about 4 or 5 additional persons were interviewed yesterday, Detective Captain Thomas Walton said few new clues have been found to date. The investigation remains a status quo. Yeah, so her body was found at the end of this street, Messenger Street, in the woods. Okay? Then they said that she was found in a path, and if you go back in time, this is what it looked like before. Watch this. See, I was looking at this going, well, you know, I was just thinking that looked strange, and they said Messenger was a dead-end street, and I was kind of looking, well, that doesn't count as a dead end right there. So then I went back in time, 1995, and then 1995, you can see it is a dead end right there. There isn't this road right there, and all of this has been put in since then. Okay, so if we go forward, now you see this little community add-on right there. So that means right there, and then her body was probably found inside this circle that I'm drawing on the screen. And then I thought, well, let's see. If you're walking across right here, and at the time, somebody probably built a path. We had a bunch of those when I was younger to cut through areas. And then when you go down here and you kind of just look, I was looking and I just was looking around, and it seemed like right there might have been sort of the remnants of, you know, a little path that would have gone through the woods right in that spot. Now there's a parking lot there, but, you know, maybe it went like that right through there and ended. You can almost see it. I mean, it's weird, right? Like, you see how the trees are, there's a little opening there? Hey, good night, Left Undone, and thanks. Yeah, cool. So right through there. Well, that's crazy, Zozo, because I did the show right at the time that you said it works the best. You know, the 7 o'clock time. You know what sucks, Rebecca, is that steroids are bad for you. Because they sure work when you've got inflammation. Seems like nothing that really works is good for you. You know. Oh, you got to hold on. Blue and them got to go. You. Yeah, Blue. Chloe's not gonna eat. Ow! Fuck. Oh man, I get these weird cramps right now. Yeah, Blue. Chloe's not gonna eat. Chris tried to give him something, and no, I get these cramps because the nerve damage goes into. It doesn't work right, so it gets a cramp. I used to get those after I got my neck problem from before, and then after it got better, I got them a lot less. So, you know, I guess I got a long ways to go. I can't even do like one tricep anything. It's just absolutely doesn't work right at this point with my left arm, especially when it's over the head. It's crazy. No, it wouldn't help at all. Yeah. It's nerve damage. It has nothing to do with potassium or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, I drink Gatorade all the time and eat bananas, and it just doesn't do anything. But thanks for the suggestions. Yeah, so it sounds like she was arguing with somebody in a pretty heated argument. So that makes you think she knew the person. Police are examining the possibility the deaths may have been related in some way. The captain said a report on a knife suspected to be used in the slaying of Miss Garden and sent to the Federal Bureau of Investigation for analysis has yet to be received. And the probes involve the murders of Miss Cindy Leslie, 18, and Suzanne Garden. So they keep trying to probe these two like they're connected. We have been receiving between 75 and 100 calls a day from persons believing they may have a lead. He explained they report people they have observed in suspicious cars and also a suspicious person. Yeah, sounds a little bit like after Delphi. Everybody's a suspect. You know, even me, right? They turned me in because I knew too much. Oh, and look at it, I've got a goatee. Look, watch this, watch it. Down the hill. Hey, guys. Down the hill. Oh, my God, it sounds just like... did you hear Gray last night on his show? He sounded just like the guy. It's ridiculous. How about you get a life sometimes? Hey, thanks.
Pain in the neck.
Pain in the neck. Pain in the neck. But hey, I do have my first physical therapy appointment tomorrow. Yee-hoo! You know, like when you go like this and you do a tricep curl? I can't even do like anything on the left side. It's crazy. It's hard to even... I can just get the arm up now. That's better than I used to be able to do, but literally... Oh yeah, there's just... there is some strength there, so hopefully eventually it'll recover somehow. But yep, definitely going in. Well, I'm not going to go nuts or anything of what they tell me to do. All right, I got one more to go here. Oh yeah, they set up a roadblock to ask people questions. And this one involves, it's another dual killing. So I think in this series there's 3 of them. It's wild. So this is Loraine, Marie Kelly, and Mary Ann Pryor. Okay, and this is August 14th, 1974, and the previous one was February 1974. And I guess this is when they're missing. The search for 2 teenagers who failed to return home after a shopping trip. Here we go again with the shopping mall, right? Last week continues today, and police say there are no clues to their whereabouts. A 13-state alarm remains in effect for Mary Ann Pryor, 17. Have we gone over this one? I don't think I looked it up and didn't see it, but 13-state alarm, that sounds just like the other one. Well, yeah, they said 1 to 2 years. I guess we'll see how it goes. I don't think we've done these. Who are reported missing last Friday by their parents. A spokesman for the North Bergen Police Department said Tuesday that authorities were backtracking the girls' activities to try to find some kind of a lead to where they might be. The 2 were last seen waiting at a bus stop in Ridgefield and were believed to have about $2 between them, the spokesman said. Police said the 2 had gone shopping in Paramus, about 20 miles from their homes. Hitchhiking was their pastime now, so that's a problem. Friends and family of Mary Ann Pryor, 17, and Loraine Marie Kelly, 16, the 2 North Bergen girls found murdered yesterday, so they found them literally the same day that this article was written, the one we just read. Later that day they were found. Thanks, so. Nancy Pryor, 19, said her sister was murdered yesterday in Montville, described them as attractive, popular girls who enjoyed a good time and liked to hitchhike. And they were 16 and 17. She said the 2 North Bergen High School juniors often spent their time at the White Castle hamburger stand at Nungesser's, a section of North
Bergen near Fairview. Lucy Melendez, a waitress there, said the two came in almost every night for French fries and Cokes. They always sat in the corner booth. The girls were polite and respectful. Waitresses agreed. Thanks, Dottie O. Miss Kelly's boyfriend, Ricky Molinara, 17, of Ridgefield, was to have picked the girls up at the White Castle Friday night, the day they disappeared. Miss Pryor's boyfriend, Sal Rubiano, lives in Georgia. The girls' frequent hitchhiking has sparked speculation that their murderer may have picked them up. Nancy Pryor said she had warned her sister about accepting rides from strangers. Thanks, Lee D. A friend of the two said hitchhiking was almost a way of life in their circle of friends. If you don't hitch, you're chicken, she said. No, you're actually smart. Miss Kelly, who would have been 17 Saturday, was an orphan. Her mother died in June, her father in 1969. She lived at 432 71st with her brother and guardian Thomas, 23, a sister Maureen, 21, and another brother, John, 18. Let me see where that is. So the bus stop was somewhere on this street right here. I don't know where. They weren't specific about it, but it was somewhere around there. Let me see where this address is. 432 71st. That was it. Gutenberg? Yeah, it's got to be it. Yeah, it's pretty close to there. Okay, and another brother, John, 18. Thomas Kelly said his sister loved children and enjoyed working with them. At the Bergen County morgue yesterday afternoon, Thomas Kelly said she's a good kid. She was outgoing, popular, and easy to get along with. He said she'd been upset because he was planning to take her to Arizona. Mary Ann's parents, James and Wanda Pryor, gave up hope when they heard a radio report yesterday morning that the bodies of two teenage girls had been found in the woods near the Ramada Inn. I think it's them because no one called to tell me it wasn't, said Mrs. Pryor. I've accepted that it's them, but I'm hoping it isn't. Miss Pryor and her other daughter, Nancy, sat by a radio in their kitchen, or at their kitchen table, looking at a map with a line traced from North Bergen to Montvale, a scrapbook of Marianne and newspaper clippings about the girl's disappearance. James Pryor paced the floor until North Bergen detectives came to their door at 9100. Let's see. 9100 2nd Avenue. So not too far away there. And this is where Mary lived. Okay, so they didn't really live that far apart right there. Yeah, so they were taken to the morgue at 1:45. Yeah, there goes my stomach. 15. I'm going to try this one. Psychiatrist gives profile of killer. Hey, here's another one. We're blessed. Let's see if this one's any better. The few clues in the murder of North Bergen teenagers Marianne Pryor and Loraine Marie Kelly point to a deranged killer, said a prominent New York criminal psychiatrist. Their nude and sexually molested bodies were found in Montvale yesterday. Police could not find... You know what's weird? That they were both nude and killed. In some ways it makes you think that there was two, because you would sort of... I mean, one could do it. I mean, it's sort of like the Delphi case. It could have been that they were both, but I mean, you know, some anecdotal information out there in the Delphi case. It's hard to know what's true or not, you know. Brussel, who once gave a perfect profile of the Boston Strangler. Oh, this is the same guy. They got the same guy for this one. Oh boy. The taking of the victim's clothing has a fetish element to it, he said. It suggests that the murderer wanted to take permanent possession, or they were killed somewhere else and they were dumped there. Russell, who once gave a perfect profile of the Boston Strangler, is a lecturer in the criminal psychiatry at the FBI Academy. You know, this guy's probably really famous, and it's probably the father of all the stuff that I'm making. You know, I just think it was that last one just sounded too generic, kind of, you know. Any rape in the act of is an act of a sick person, he said yesterday. The man who did this has a sex instinct, but he cannot take it out in the normal way. 2 killers possible. Yeah, that's what I was just saying a few minutes ago. He said it could have been the work of 2 people, but they would both have abnormal minds. Russell said the murder of the 2 girls was almost certainly not the work of the Bergen Strangler, who killed at least 4 and possibly 6 Bergen girls between 65 and 69. Actually, I think they ended up catching that person. Let me check something really quick. Yeah, I think that that could be Robert Zarinsky. That's who I think that might be. Because Robert Zarinsky, he shows up, again. Well, there's also Richard Cottingham. You know, it's like there's a Richard Cottingham as well, and he's also in Bergen County. So there's 2 for sure serial killers in this whole New Jersey girls killing that we've been talking about. There's a Robert Zielinski and a Richard Cottingham. Those are 2 for sure out of there. And, he confessed to a bunch of them all the way up to, Cottingham did, up until 69. So, definitely, and I don't know when he was arrested, though, for it. And then Robert Zarinsky, he confessed to a few of these. How do you know, Gene? Who knows who this guy is? You always act like you got everything right in the tip of your tongue, and you're definitely not a encyclopedia, I can tell you that. Let's see. Well, I don't know. They confessed to some of their other killings. Not like after they were arrested and charged, they pled down to lesser. They didn't get the death penalty because they would say where other victims were, and then I think this guy Robert Zarinsky, he actually died. He was charged in 2008 with one of these, but he died before going to trial. Right. All right. Oh yeah. That's right. Brussels said the murder of the 2 girls was almost certainly not the work of the Bergen Strangler. And I think that's who one of these guys was. Russell worked up a psychological profile of the killer, whom he called a paranoid schizophrenic. Let me just type that in for the hell of it. Yeah, and that's how she spells it too, Zozo. As a matter of fact, I had there's a comedian. His name is Floyd J. Phillips, and his first line is, "My name is Floyd J. Phillips. The J stands for genius." And then everybody laughs, you know. Right. No, I'm going to have to do it, Gene. You're not accurate a lot, so I got to... One day when I see that you're accurate, I'll let you know. But yeah, he said his name is Floyd J. Phillips. The J stands for genius. And look at that. That's exactly how Zozo just spelled it right up above there. That's the joke that Floyd J. Phillips had. Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah, I was going to do something here. Bergen Strangler. The New Jersey torso killer admits murdering 3 teenage girls. And here he is, Richard Cottingham. So that's the Cottingham. Yep. And this is one of them. We did this one. Irene Blase right here. Incarcerated serial killer Richard Cottingham confessed to it. Right there. See that? Yeah, he does. He does look like Santa Claus. Don't you agree, Gene, that looks like Santa Claus? What's your professional opinion? Let's see. Yeah. So this guy he's a serial killer. He wouldn't seem like he's a serial killer though, right? Yeah. Anyways, let's see what else he said. He doesn't think it's the Bergen Strangler. Killed at least 4 and possibly 6 Bergen girls between 65 and 69. There you go. Encyclopedia Genanica. Oh, God. That's it. She probably left because she didn't like being teased. Encyclopedia. That's pretty good. Now she's looking up stuff really quick. See, and then she just quickly looks something up. Who's the original? Who's the original profile? Yeah. Well, I'm actually, you know, the lady that I talked to on Facebook, the one that was on my show a while back. There's 2 people. They're the ones that are behind the scenes in that show. What's the name of that show on Netflix? Where they interview, you know, they go around and interview killers to develop profiling. That's who I'm talking about. Nah, that doesn't mean you're right. Yeah, Mind Hunters. Those 2 people there are the fathers of profiling. Okay? That's who did it. You know, you might have this guy, these psycho guys like this guy right here, who think, oh, yes, I'm really good at it, blah, blah, blah. But they brought it to more of a science with those guys. They interviewed people, and boom. Oh, look at that. I was just called so mean. God. Thanks, Lori. That's not cool. I did nothing wrong. Gray. Wait.
Gray, you're so mean.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Diddle-it, 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 diddle-it. Oh, wow. I think that puts me 10 in the hole, though, Lee D. Right? Because you already did the -5 from before. Whew. Wow. I'm going to be in there for a long time. You guys are...
So mean. Ooh.
Wow, what kind of a... Gosh, Mary Lou, what kind of a cry was that? Exactly, bush and beach lifestyle, right? I mean, what a lame. I mean, Mary Lou used to sound legit when she would cry, right? Now it sounds like some fake ass. You know, I'm not buying it. Not buying it.
You want to try that again, Mary Lou?
No.
What?
That was so weird. I thought it said no. I said, you want to try that again, Mary Lou? But it was actually Kubitschek saying soap, but it sounded like no. Did you hear that, though? He said...
#soap.
Oh, my God. That was the weirdest thing in the world. Now, that guy's terrible, Susanna. Don't ever mention that name again. Thanks.
Mary Lou, please.
And you know that when he starts talking about how... yeah, just trust me on that one. God, that was so weird. Am I out of here yet, though? Now we need 6 more because Lee D got me in there twice. -10, and then we've got Kubi 4. Look at the last 40 comments are all channel members or mods. Okay, I think that might be good because that's $1 and the other ones were Australian dollars, so I think we're good now. Thanks, Firefly Shy. Alright, I'm out of there.
Please get out of jail. Gray leende ansikte och ögon.
Okay, whatever you said. Thanks, Dadio. Caspian horses rock with the pom-poms. Alright. So we're going through this profile. He said it could have been 2 people, not the Bergen Strangler. Russell worked up a psychological profile of the killer, whom he called a paranoid schizophrenic. He said it is the different circumstances of the crimes rather than the lapse of time that rules out any link. All the earlier victims were strangled with a piece of their own clothing and then were beaten, although several were partially undressed. Well, see, some of those ones we just talked about tonight in the 70s also were strangled with their own clothing, or clothing found around. The lack of sexual assault in the earlier cases indicates that this was a different person, Russell said. It was reported initially that Miss Kelly and Miss Pryor had been strangled, but Bergen County Prosecutor Joseph Woodcock retracted that report. The girls had been beaten, however. And this was the 3... Okay. Police pursuing tips and girls slang. Now we see both of them on the screen right here. Marianne Pryor and Loraine Marie Kelly. Police have begun a massive search for clues and suspects in the murders and sexual abuse of 2 North Bergen teenage girls whose nude bodies were found yesterday. So both were nude. Autopsy failed to reveal the cause of death of Marianne Pryor, 17, and Loraine Marie Kelly, 16. Bergen County Prosecutor Joseph C. Woodcock said the autopsy showed the girls had not been shot, stabbed, or strangled. He said they appeared to have been beaten. The bodies were found face down. Well, how come you didn't know the cause of death, though? Like, you know, you're beaten, and then you do an autopsy, and you see, okay, yeah, they were beaten so hard they fractured the brain and had brain swelling, you know, something like that, right? The bodies were found face down, side by side, in a small wooded area less than 10 feet from a parking lot behind the Ridge Mound Gardens apartment 2 blocks west of the Garden State Parkway. You know, I actually think I found the precise location in this one. So originally I was over here, but I was looking at this map and I think it was literally right in this clump of trees right next to this spot. You can't get there, but let me see from here. You could probably see the clump of trees back there. Yeah. And there was a parking lot behind it. It was described as. Let's see. Police made plaster casts of footprints near the bodies. Hey, there you go, Susanna. Oh, that's right. It was mud this time, not leaves. They did not find the girls' clothing. The attractive long-haired girls, close friends in the junior class at North Bergen High School, had been missing since 4:30 p.m. Friday when Miss Kelly's boyfriend, Ricky Molinaro, dropped them off at a bus stop on Broad Street in Richfield. They said they were going shopping in Paramus. Woodcock said the time of death was early morning, or Monday morning or afternoon. Police have begun to follow up. Let's see, it was early Monday morning or afternoon. What does that mean? That's kind of a wide range. Let's see. Molinaro, a 17-year-old from Ridgefield, was questioned, given a lie detector test, and released. Ridgefield Police Chief Thomas Mulligan said he was told by a reliable woman that the girls were seen trying to hitch a ride between 4 and 5. Remember, they said they liked to do that. Friends said the girls hitchhiked frequently, but Woodcock said they had planned to take a bus to Paramus. Woodcock said he got a call from a woman claiming to have seen the girls around 5 p.m. Friday in Bamberger's department store in Paramus Garden State Plaza. However, a Paramus detective said checks of security officers, sales clerks, and others in the shopping center produced no positive identification. Yeah, I doubt they ever made it there. This is where the plaza was, where they were trying to go, right there. So they're trying to get to that plaza, and their bodies were found way over here. So quite a ways away. Okay. Woodcock confirmed that an accused rapist who reportedly had tried to abduct several women from shopping center had been questioned. However, the man said he said to attract victims by deflating tires on their cars. Man, we've talked about that before too. And then helping them to fix them was not characterized by Woodcock as a suspect. Man, I'd put that guy in prison for life, because he's one of those. That's that classic technique with the tires right there. Montvale and Spring Valley police were to confer today to determine whether there is a connection between an incident in Spring Valley and the girl's death. An elderly couple told Montvale police they saw a bushy-haired man, 18 to 20, where the bodies were found. Spring Valley police received a complaint about a man similarly described. Wanda Pryor, Mary Ann's mother, said she received a call at 6 a.m. Tuesday from a man claiming to have seen the girls at a Union City diner. Ms. Pryor said the description was accurate, including mention of Mary Ann's pigeon-toed walk. Woodcock said the tip was being followed, even though it placed the girls at the diner after the estimated time of death. Woodcock's investigators, led by Lieutenant... Well, that makes you almost wonder if that, maybe he's the killer and was just trying to throw them off, and he knew how they walked because he'd been stalking them. Said one of the officials in the investigation, let's face it, with the type of crime you have to get lucky to solve it. From 1965 to 69, 6 Bergen County girls were strangled at regular intervals, and some of the murders has been solved. Authorities rejected any connection to the murder of Pryor and Kelly girls. A group called We Must Care yesterday offered a $1,000 reward. Let's see. The bodies of Miss Pryor, a blue-eyed brunette, and Miss Kelly, a brown-eyed brunette, were discovered at 7:45 a.m. by Enos Perry, a tenant at Ridgemont Gardens. Miss Perry was getting into her car to go to work when she saw one body less than 10 feet in front of her car in woods between the apartment and the Ramada Inn motel. So let's see where, the body was not, that's not where they're found, this place. Right here. And I have it right there. And I want to see what this is right there. I think this is going to be a motel right there. And then it would make sense. Yeah, Marriott, see, boom. And that's why I think that's it. I think if you look at this and you see exactly what she's saying. Now I don't know where the parking space for this unit is. Is it one of these, and then you just it's kind of interesting how they don't have a parking spot. There's parking. I mean, there's parking everywhere. And, actually, I think that's probably it right there, then. Even though it's between the trees, you can kind of see that this land marks their land and, the border between the apartment's property and the hotel. So it's right back in here. And wow, that's crazy. So the guy must have driven back in here, and look how secluded that is, and then dumped their bodies in the little wooded area here, and then she got to her car, and then the bodies were just right there. Right? You get it? So she said she was parking her car. This is the Ramada Inn. And it was right back here in this. I think even in these trees right there. I guess it's possible it was right there too. But let's see. Mrs. Perry was getting into her car to go to work when she saw the body less than 10 feet in front of her car in the woods between the apartments and the Ramada Inn. See, it feels like it could easily be that because, boom. But then again, it could be that too. The spot where the bodies were found in a clump of oak maples and wild cherry trees is just out of sight of passerby on Rolling Ridge Road. Initial identification was made by tracing a chain around Miss Kelly's neck. A disc was engraved Loraine and Ricky. Positive identification was made at the Paramus office of medical examiner Lawrence J. Denson. After initial examination, there were reports that strangulation was the cause of death. However, Woodcock said the finding had been retracted. He said toxicological tests at the State Police Laboratory in Little Falls would be needed. Further examination of the bodies would continue today. Woodcock confirmed the girls had been sexually assaulted but did not elaborate. Miss Pryor's father, James, said there were marks on her daughter's neck. Both girls were 5 feet 5, and Kelly weighing 115 and Pryor 125. Miss Kelly had said she would meet her boyfriend at 9 p.m. Friday but never appeared. Miss Pryor had begun packing that morning for a trip to the shore. Miss Pryor lived at 9100 2nd Avenue. Ramada Inn officials said they had not seen anyone matching the girl's description. In interviews before the bodies were found, Miss Pryor was pessimistic about the fate of her daughter and Miss Kelly. I think my daughter has been raped and now she's ashamed to come home, she said. The victims' wow, that's weird. The victims' families learned of the discovery of the bodies on the radio. That's your favorite word, isn't it? Asshat, Susanna. You say that, I think, on every stream. I'm going to need you to come up with a new one, all right? You know, like the art, you know, like you had us all laughing with the arm in the window, but if we can just get... let's see. So now this is... Yeah, it's only about 2 weeks later, but the investigation into the murders of the North Bergen teenage girls is getting its second wind. With no announced suspects, the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office held a 2-hour meeting with North Bergen and Montvale police yesterday. Afterwards, prosecutors Joseph C. Woodcock said police were picking up loose ends. Yeah, you like that one? Charlie Ann. In other words, there are some people who haven't been able to speak to Woodcock. They couldn't speak to, Woodcock said. Woodcock said police are expanding the areas of canvassing around the site. Okay, well, it didn't lead to anything. And then these are some of the images. You know, this is actually, let's see, the mother and sister Mary Pryor arrive at the medical examiner's office. That's her sister right there. Yeah, what a nightmare. And then this is the map that helped me find the location. Here, watch this. See? If you look at that, can you guys see that? Right there. So I lined that up to match that. You can see the road up there, how it curves. I even, tried to get it so you could see. And then you go down here in the Ramada Inn, right there. It just got it confirmed what I was looking at. And then right there you see 1, 2, and they have that circled, the second one in, and that's this one. And then there's a clump of trees right next to it. So I think that's where the lady lived who got out of her car. And then this is a Ramada Inn right there, which looks like that's it right there. So there you go, everybody. Crystal clear. Oh my God, it's Cristola. Not Linola. Yeah. So there you go. There you have it, everybody. All of those are still unsolved. I think a few of these definitely have potential for DNA, and hopefully they swabbed both of these girls. They were sexually assaulted and have DNA from them. I don't know. It's back in the day, there weren't a lot of forensic and detective people back then that actually did preserve, the evidence in the way that they do now. There was a few people that did, though. It's amazing. It's like these people, before they even knew that something was going to exist, totally preserved items, and then now they're actually solving crimes. Hopefully one of these did that. Just one. Cristola, you take a tolla on my sola. Come on, Cristola. That's pretty good. Anyways, what do you guys think? I just came up with that. Atolla. What's a gombeen? Is that your new word? Gombeen? Huh? Yeah. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be it for me tonight. Closing in on the end of the New Jersey girls' murders. I'm sure there's a few more, though. Good night, Kubitschek. Kubitschek.
Yeah, good night, Kubitschek.
Hey, I already said good night. Why do you need to say it?
Well, because I want to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Crystal, you missed the whole show. You know? Oh, and thanks, Sandra, on PayPal there. Appreciate it. Huh. Okay. Hey, what is this? Hold on a second. I've got a press release that was just released by Identifinders to me. They sent it right to me. It says, "Hello, Gray. I have another press release to share with you from Identifinders International." It said, let me open it up. We'll just read it. This is pretty cool. Ready? It said, Holocaust International bestseller. Let's see, Melbourne, Australia. After more than 80 years, the early life story of Holocaust survivor. I don't know if this is a book or something. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to read it for you guys. Has been confirmed according to Identifinders International, an investigative genetic genealogy firm in California. DNA test results show that he is a close relative to a Jewish family living in Canada. So let's see. A Holocaust survivor Alex Kernam, a.k.a. the mascot, has been confirmed. Let's see. Kurzum, the subject of an award-winning documentary and the international best-selling biography of the mascot written by his son Mark, has maintained he was Jewish orphan who witnessed his family murdered in a massacre in Koidanov near Minsk, Belarus in October 1941. For decades, his claims have been met with skepticism because of the lack of verifiable details and historic inconsistencies. While many of these discrepancies can be attributed to lack of documentation, fading memories, and embellishments of traumatic events from decades ago, his DNA results are conclusive. He is Jewish from Koidanov. The Holocaust took away our lives, our families, our history. Every story of survival is incredible, said Curzon. But because of Dr. Fitzpatrick research, the weight has been lifted from my shoulders, and now I have relief that after so many years I can finally tell my story and be believed. Hey, what are you talking about, Gene? Are you paying attention to what we're reading here? It was given to me by Identifinders. It's a story about somebody else. Wow. Let's see. The majority of, something about perished in World War II, having found Alex and his relatives in a once-in-a-lifetime miracle. We become into our family with open arms. I don't know. It looks like they sent me like an unedited copy. Were you not paying attention though, Gene? It was pretty obvious I was just talking about this case that was sort of, it was just clear that I was reading about somebody else. So anyways, that was the breaking news sent in. Looks like they used it. What's weird though is that's not really criminal related. I'm not sure. That would be more like the DNA Doe Project or something. Although I guess you could use it for anything you want, right? I need to get my other sound effects in here.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
I gotta get her on here. Colleen, she was gonna come on my show. If she came on, I'll do a lot. You guys come up with some questions you would ask her, because she'd come on live. It'd be kind of fun.
I'm fired out of it, 10 down, 15,
hit the like button, 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 20, 30, 45, 50, 55, 65, 75, 85, 99, 100.
30. You want to put 30, sir. 25 of them, you're out. I'm at a 25, at a 30, 30, now 5, I'm 35.
Oh yes, everybody, don't forget to go watch our special that me and Stacy did a while back on the Dyatlov Pass incident. That's kind of a hard word to say. Some people say Dyatlov, but I think it's Dyatlov, right? D-Y. It's how it's spelled. Dyatlov Pass incident. And then she has a book on Amazon. You got to go check it out. It's in the link in the description. It's called Death of Nine, the Dyatlov Pass Mystery. Right? And it's easy as hell to read. It's like, you feel like you're right there, first of all. You got all these great photographs in there. And you actually get cold just looking at it. And then it just kind of works it all the way through, and you just feel like and then you're at a point where you can make your own theories and theorize and everything. Yeah, see? Huh? Yeah, anyways. All right, well, cool. So check out her book. If you're somebody new that's watching, but most of you probably aren't new, because I can see it's all blue and green, and we really don't have hardly anybody just randomly here anymore. It's almost like only people that are subscribers are getting any kind of information about my show. It's strange. It's wild. So, anyways, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's just not... I don't know how you found it, AK, but we usually used to have like 200, 300, 400 people watching. And all of a sudden, after I had my account checked for somebody maybe hacking it, It's like 150, 180. It's pretty weird. It's not even anywhere near what it used to be. But maybe one of these days it'll get back up there.
So thank you, Lee D. Left Undone. Kubachek. Jessica Schubach. Tracy. Linda Howell, as in Linda Bolden Howell of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Bush and Beach Lifestyle. Darrell Griggs. Stacy with a double cat eye donation. Thank you. Daudio Caspian Horses Rock. Daudio Caspian Horses Rock. Zozo. Daudio Caspian Horses Rock. Ruby. Lee D again. Kubachek. Ocean Beach Lifestyle. Firefly Shy. Daudio Caspian Horses Rock. Sarah M.
Hey, thanks everybody.
Mary Lou, that wasn't your time, Mary Lou. That wasn't your time.
I know, but I can do what I want, right?
No, you really can't. Anyways, thanks everybody. What I'll do is I'll play some music for a while at the end, and then you guys can chat for a while. And then you can just keep chatting for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so. Alright? But hopefully you guys think those are kind of interesting. A lot of those seem like they're the same, they're related, don't they? A lot of those New Jersey cases. Some of them obviously were. There's 2 serial killers for sure, but there's so many more murders that you feel like there's another one in there. And they're even after the other guy was arrested. So make sure that you guys are maintaining your social distancing. You're wearing your masks. And you are washing your hands. Okay? So just to let you guys know, everybody, this is an actual true crime channel. Okay? I'm just letting you know. I kind of like that background, by the way. That's pretty sweet, isn't it? Yeah. Kind of. That was created on Halloween for me. Yeah, so this is an actual true crime channel. It's not the Morphew channel. It's not the Chris Watts channel. We got plenty of those out there who mindlessly cover the same damn cases day in and day out. They might take a day break, but then they get right back to it. All right, and somehow that gets rewarded, and it shouldn't be, because that's not what this is supposed to be about. We're supposed to cover, cold cases. Sometimes they're solved. Try to give people a better understanding of stuff, or even try to figure some shit out, but give awareness to cases out there that need the help, not cover the same damn case over and over again after it's been solved even. People who cover the Chris Watts case are idiots that are still covering it, okay? And that's just the honest to God truth. If you're still covering Chris Watts at this point, you are just a sub-mining, absolute meaningless person on YouTube, okay? Because that case was solved a week into it. Sure, you guys could go all the way till the confession and the plea deal. That's great. But there's nothing new in it up until right now, except you're still talking about it. It's unreal, okay? And the whole Morphew thing, it's like, yeah, that one's still open there. But how about in the meantime, when there isn't anything to, to sort of invent, to create interest for no reason at all, you could be helping all these millions of other missing persons, unsolved cases, the hundreds of thousands of them. I don't think there's millions of them, but there are so many, and you guys should be out there doing that. But that's cool, all right? Just keep doing what you're doing. Good stuff. Whoa. All right. Yeah, so make sure that you're washing your hands, maintaining your social distancing, and wearing your mask when you're around other people. All right? Yeah. I don't think the Gombeen one's going to stick. It's not really that funny. It doesn't work. So, all right, everybody. Thanks very much. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5. Well, I don't even know how to get out of here right now. There we go. Oh, it froze up on me. I'll have to do something different. Hold on. Try that one.
I have not seen
And
one.
then, there we go.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person.
Yeah, I've seen the douche canoe one.
Crime dissector, plug rejector.
I'm a certified human lie detector.
Wait, that's my part. That's my part, you idiot. That's
Try
me.
and play me like an old
What?
projector. Crime sector.
Here's my nectar. Professor Gregor's gonna give another lecture. Crime dissector. Wait, you screwed me up. You screwed me up, John Boy.
Oh, now you're blaming me.
Interceptor.
Great on meaning than a spectre with a vector. On his spectre, with all respect, ya. Just remember I'm a coming to meet you.
Oh, you forgot the words?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm no pretender. And I'll
Give it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya
on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah.
Alright!
Alright, everybody.
Wow, that was so cool. Those are really interesting cases, Gray. I mean, they're most incredible cases I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, would you just be quiet? You always go way overboard.
You're so mean.
Yeah, you didn't do that one quite right. Do it again.
Okay, gosh, John Boy, you're so mean.
Hey, that wasn't bad at all. What I would do is extend out the part at the end there. Okay, try it again.
Okay, let me do. Gosh, John Boy, you're so mean.
Yeah, just like that. Now, if you could do that every time, I think we'd be in a good place, all right? Okay, good night, Mary Lou. Jesus.
Good night, John Boy. Gee.
Golly gee willikers. They sound like they're right out of like Leave It to Beaver or some shit like. All right.
Crime dissector, I'll never get ya. I'm a certified human lie detector. Crime dissector, I'll never get ya. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a spectre.
Oh, you don't know the words anymore? What happened? What happened, for God's sakes? Intersector. Hey, that's not me. I can't do it. I can't do it. Wait, try it again. Try it again. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it, man.
Why not? It's easy. You just go like this. Crime dissector, thug rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya, gonna stretch ya, if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar, Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool reflector, interceptor, and I'm even gonna fight that with a vector.
Yeah, like that. On his spectre, without a picture, just remember all again. I have no agenda, and no agenda, and I'll send it to you straight without the plunder. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal that you're offender.
Hey, not too bad there, not too bad, not too bad. Second Jill went up the hill, reached with a buck and a quarter. Jill came down with $2.50. Boom. Hickory dickory dock. Oh, I can't do that one. Never mind.
Jeez, Mary Lou.
What? You know that one?
Yeah, I sure do.
Well, how come you know that one?
Well, I watched Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh. Three blind mice. I'm the sector, the rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher, and I try to play like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool reflector, interceptor. And I'm even gonna fight with a vector on his spectre without spectre. Just remember what type of conjecture. I have no agenda, I'm the pretender, and I'll send it to you straight without the blunder. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to the real true offender.
Wow. Yeah, that was pretty good, Mary Lou. How would a woodchuck chuck?
How would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
I don't know.
Oh. That's weird. Wanna do it again? Okay, cool. Peter Piper picked up back up pickles. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck chucked up wood? I don't know, but I missed the words. Skim the paper for critics. Paper reading Elvis lyrics. chicken wings, sandwich, pepper, there's a linda, hold on, baby, T.I.B. Hold up, I'm not over the booty. For some of me in town, my baseball hat. Some seen hat, the day was getting hot. Looking for a girl, I ran into a guy. His name was somebody else, I said, how do you had a little story thing with all of it. I should try that. Yay, I'll do Slim Shady one of these days. I'm Slim Shady, I'm the real Shady, I'm Slim Shady, I'm just a potato, I'm the real Slim Shady, please stand up, please stand up, please stand up. 'Cause I'm the real Shady, I'm the real Slim Shady, I'm Slim Shady, just be irritating. Oh, the dog. Murder goes on the moon. Yeah, that's right, Slim Gray, but I'm Mary Lou. M. Lou. Call me M. Lou. I'm the real M. Lou. Then you wonder how I can eat the onion. It's funny cause when I'm ready to go, when I'm 30, only in one business is all pudding. This is necessary when I'm checking on my chickens I think you can do that one now. I really do. I really do. I really do. Anyways.
Thanks everybody for showing up tonight. And thank you, Mary Lou, for entertaining us, doing absolutely nothing. All right. See you guys later. You can still chat if you'd like to. I know that Susanna likes to, so we'll just